All right, FightHype.com. Sean Zattel gladly joined by the champion of the WBO, champion of the world at 130 pounds, junior lightweight, looking to unify against the IBF junior lightweight champion of the world, Maiva Hamadouche from France. Mikaela, just first, your thoughts on your opponent next Friday.
Yeah, well, first of all, I like how you pronounced her last name. That was the first time I heard it that way. Very fancy.
I'm assuming because she's French.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so obviously we've studied her a bunch. Coach Al's all about that. And her style is pretty straightforward. I mean, she's a comer. Like, she's going to come hard, straight at you. Nothing super fancy, not super technically sound, but she's going to come hard. She throws a lot of punches and tends to overwhelm her opponents who really can't handle that pressure. So coming up with the game plan was pretty straightforward, but it's been hard work in the gym. We want to make sure that we're well conditioned and that we stay disciplined for those 10 rounds.
When you won the WBO title, it sounds like kind of a similar style. She was a come forward fighter as well. Forgive me, it might have been again in your first title defense against that really strong fighter from Africa you faced.
Yeah, you're talking about Helen Joseph when I wore the yellow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Helen Joseph was like that. And you won that fight very comfortably. Do you feel like you can maybe even get a stoppage against this girl or win the fight just as comfortably as you did with Helen Joseph?
So the difference with Hamadouche and Helen is even though she was aggressive and came forward, Hamadouche sort of does it better. She closes that space a lot quicker than Helen. And I don't know if you guys remember, but after the first round in that Helen Joseph fight, first thing I said to Coach Al is, I'm like, she's slower than I thought. She's slow. She wasn't close. We really worked on getting that space because we expected her to really come in fast and hard. And even though she didn't, preparing for that fight was really good experience leading up to someone like Hamadouche, because she will close that space a lot faster. And we will have to keep that space and make sure that, we're using our height and reach to the best of our ability. But yeah, with the combination of her rushing forward and me sitting on my shots, the way I've been training, the way I've been working, absolutely. We want to stop her. We want to hurt her early on because we want to slow her down. We don't want her to get confident in pushing me back and coming forward. That's not part of our game plan.
Right. Because for you, getting ready to watch your fight against that kind of style, it's exciting to think how much will you be creating distance, but how much will you be meeting her head on, trying to get her. Yeah.
Both. If you watch some of her past fights, I think the girls she fought, they focus too much on movement. You got to be able to hold your ground with her in spurts, dig to her body in moments and let her know that she can't bully you, while also being able to keep the space and use in getting her, tagging her with your reach. So it's a combination of both. It's not just going to be, one thing that we're going to do in this fight. And this is one of the reasons that my entire career, Coach Al has been forcing me to learn how to fight on the inside and forcing me to become more, to become well-rounded and multidimensional, because he said, there's going to be a time when you fight someone who's going to get you on the inside, who's going to be able to close that space. And I can't teach you how to do that then. You have to know how to do it now. And I got a little criticism in the first half of my career because I wasn't using my height and reach. I was fighting on the inside, but that's because we were practicing. That's what Coach Al was training me to learn how to do, because he can't just teach me now. It's too late now. I have to know how to execute it. And that's what we were sort of doing. And so this fight's coming at a perfect time and we're prepared for it. We've been preparing.
Awesome stuff. You see that with Jamal James, who's fighting tomorrow night. Tall guy who sometimes you can't always get that distance. He just has to fight these guys off on the inside. He's, so that's very similar stuff, Mikaela. That's awesome. Yeah. What do you think of the fact that this girl, she's been champion for 5 years now and has had 6 title defenses? What do you think of that?
I think that she should have unified by now. I'm looking at all these who've been sitting at 130 who now want to be a part of this movement in women's boxing and like want to act all tough. But it's like, what have you guys been doing these last 5 years? Why haven't you guys wanted to unify? Same with Hyun-Mi Choi, who has a WBA belt in my division. She's the longest reigning female champion in history. So what are you doing? Why aren't you guys trying to make these fights happen? 6 fights in 5 years really isn't all that much to me at all. even her last opponent was ranked like 32, whatever, total pushover. So I don't know. I'm not going to look at her. I don't look at her record and look at how long she's been champion, and that doesn't faze me really, because to me, this new era of women's boxing is the challenge, right? So I don't think she's ever gone up against someone like me. I think that her past opponents, she's been really able to overwhelm, and it's not really so much like her KO power. It's just she overwhelms them. She's very aggressive and she overwhelms them with their punches. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that anything about her record, I'm not letting her record or the fact that she's been champion for a long time really dictate anything that I'm going to do.
Well, it's taken you a lot less than 5 years to make a unification happen. So
yeah,
you got your point there. But if it's up to you, not looking past Friday's unification, but would it be Choi and then Terry Harper? Bang, bang. Let's get the WBA and the WBC right after it.
I mean, ideally, yes. But we all know that Eddie Hearn is not going to give me Choi. Okay, he's not going to give her to me. He's going to reserve her for Harper, which originally I'm like, cool, fine. Harper, you fight Choi, I'll fight Hamadouche, and we'll have an undisputed champion by next year. That's sort of being put on pause because Terry Harper is not fighting Choi. She's going up against Baumgardner. So it's probably going to take a little longer. I don't know. I might have to have another fight after this. We'll see. Obviously, we never know what's going to happen. Things keep getting mixed up in this division anyway. It's the exciting part of this division. So we'll just see what happens. But I do wish Harper was fighting Choi already.
Yeah, because I know you're in your prime right now. So it's like, let's have the fights that matter right now. Right?
Yeah, exactly. If I'm now, then I'm whatever, then I'm not ready. I'm not meant to be who I think I'm meant to be, but I'm willing to test myself, and I'm willing to go in there and try.
130, and it's great. I know you want to become undisputed, but now, the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, they're circling each other. They're getting a lot of the praise and the buzz in women's boxing in these divisions. How much do you want to face them? If they were to fight, face the winner, or face either one of them if they're not going to wind up facing each other? Absolutely, because I definitely want to leave my legacy I fought everyone I possibly could. I fought all the top girls in this era right now, and Katie Taylor and Serrano, they're on that list. And so I want to get through 130 because I'm ready to sort of take on other challenges. But, I'm not going to sit around and wait for anyone. I'm going to take the fights as they come. And if an opportunity comes to fight Katie next year, then and the terms are right and everything looks good, I'll do it. Same with Serrano. Going undisputed at 130 isn't the only option. It's just my preferred option now, but I'm here to chase the money and chase the big fights. Who's the better fighter between Serrano and Taylor, in your opinion?
So they're very different. I think that Serrano has a more sound pro style. I still think that Katie Taylor, and she fought in the amateurs for a really long time, has that European style. There's still a lot of amateur things that she does. I mean, she's really good at it, so obviously she's gotten away with it. But I still don't think that she has made like a ton of changes when it comes to her adapting into the pros. Mm-hmm. Where I think that Serrano has a very good pro style, digging to the body and all that. So they're very different. Katie Taylor's fast, and Serrano's a little bit more methodical, a little bit more disciplined, and her style is a little different. It's hard, but we'll see who does better. Katie Taylor is fast and quick, and she throws a lot of combos, and we'll see if Serrano can sort of get in there and impose her power and her pro style, because if she can, I think that style beats the amateur style.
And Mikaela too, can I just go ahead.
Sorry, especially the second half of the fight, but go ahead.
No, right. Body punching will do that. But totally get what did you think of Claressa Shields? First time she's had a defeat, in God knows how long. What did you think of what happened at her fight with the PFL and MMA?
I think she did great. I mean, I think she's been doing great. Even in her last fight, she did great, and she's still learning, and it takes time to learn a whole new sport, multiple sports when you're talking about MMA. And so I think she's doing great. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about her. One loss is nothing in MMA. Like, she's in there, she's learning, she's doing the best she can. She's got plenty of time to learn and continue to grow. People obviously are tuning in. They're excited about watching her. And so I think just as I think she feels, she's going to let it roll off her shoulder, get right back in the gym and keep working.
You think she'll take care of business with Savannah Marshall if that fight eventually goes down?
I do. And it's because I know I'm probably think I'm biased, but Clarissa has really fast hands and a high punch count, especially for that division. And I've watched some of Savannah Marshall's last couple of fights. I'm just going to go off the pro because the amateurs was years so long ago. Pro, different style, different game, everything. So going off the pro, she seems to be heavy-handed and been doing well. I worry about a couple things. She's not super quick. She doesn't seem to have super quick feet or super quick hands. And I think so Clarissa will win when it comes to that. And then her hands are really, really low. Her hands are low. And someone that maybe isn't as aggressive as Clarissa, you can sort of get away with that, block a punch, come back. But Clarissa's not going to stop after one punch. She's going to keep coming. So the low hands and the sort of, I haven't really seen her have to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? And she's going to have to with Clarissa. And I just think Clarissa's going to overwhelm her with punches. But, we'll see. I think Savannah's doing well as a pro, and it's going to be a great fight. It definitely needs to happen.
And lastly, champ, I think there's a lot of people who are going to be at your fight regardless at the Virgin. But I think with Canelo being there the night after, there's going to be even more champions and great fighters in attendance at your fight. With that fight being the night after, Canelo Plant, I loved how you were talking about you can't just box and keep your distance all the time from someone putting pressure on you. Sometimes you're gonna have to fight. That seems to be some of what Caleb Plant has on his hands with Canelo. Do you think he'll be able to do all that and pull off an upset, or how do you see that fight playing out, Mikaela?
Well, let me just say I am a Caleb Plant fan. I really am. I like his style, and I'll watch him and say, okay, that's similar to what I should be doing, with being able to box, but also dig to the body, a good jab. So I really like his style, and I think he possesses great skills. And obviously I have the same kind of question that I think everyone has is, will he be able to withstand Canelo's power? So we'll see. You're right. It's going to be a combination of not letting him get bullied, but also keeping that space and boxing him from the outside. I don't know. I'm rooting for Caleb, and I really want to see him shine and do great. But I really don't know how the fight's going to play out ultimately. Canelo is strong, so he's got to make sure to stay away from those big shots and not kind of play into his game plan.
Well, we'll all have a hell of a fighter to watch the night before in your own main event. Can't wait to see that fight, Mikaela. Thanks for your time so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Talk to you after.
Yeah. Thanks.